After the last race, we gave her a few days off, and we did scope her after the last race, and she had a little mucus, and we put her on the antibiotics, and we went back in training, and after 7 days we scoped her, and she was perfectly clean, and she was feeling good. And then we found a race for her, and that was on the grass, which she loved the grass. And we thought, okay, we'll just go ahead and run her. And unfortunately, we had an accident, and we lost her. In the morning, she's jumping, bucking, and if I had a little doubt in my mind, she's not ready because or something like that, I would have scratched for 100%. But she was like training really, really good, and she was telling that oh, ready to run. Because she was just fine. I couldn't make it to that race. I wasn't in a good shape with my leg, and doctor said don't put too much strain on it. Yeah, I was worried about them because my brother called me and said, "Oh, all the sons of you are really upset," and because it's a family business, we all into horses, we all love horses. Uh, just I want all the sons of it to feel better, and it hurts everybody. It hurts the barn, the fans, and it's very painful. Because all these horses are like my kids, like a family, and like my friends. And when I go to the barn, horses are really happy to see me, and I'm really happy to see them. When we lose a horse in the barn, when that affects me, when I'm sad, and the horses can sense that, and they're kind of quiet also because I'm not happy. And when things happens like that, it hurts, but you have to go on with your life and your business.
I'm Dr. Dawn Folker Calderon. I'm the head vet for the Illinois Racing Upstate Thoroughbreds. In our department, we have 5 veterinarians, 3 of which are association veterinarians who work for the track, and 2 of us are state veterinarians who work for the Illinois Racing Board. In the mornings, we start off our regulatory day by examining all the horses that are going to race that day, doing a pre-race exam. And that's performed by 2 of the association veterinarians. Their exam starts off by identifying the horse to make sure that they have the proper horse. They check the lip tattoo on the horse, then they'll do a visual assessment of the horse to make sure that they don't see anything obviously wrong with the horse, that the horse is good in flesh, no nasal discharge, no problems with the eyes. Then they'll do a physical exam on the horse. They'll run their hand over the back of the horse looking for any areas of soreness. They'll run their hand down the front limbs looking for any areas of heat or swelling. Then they pick the limb up into their hands and they'll palpate each of the ligaments and tendons as they go down the leg, and then they will flex the limb, and they're looking for any pain response from the horse at that time. If they find anything, they'll ask the groom to take the horse out into the shed row, and they'll watch the horse at a jog to assess the gait of the horse. They'll make comments on their paperwork as to what they thought of the horse. If they find anything wrong, they'll immediately scratch the horse. In the afternoon, they'll leave us notes on horses that they want us to watch during the day. We have 3 vets working during the afternoon, 1 in the paddock, 1 in the detention barn, and 1 at the gate. The paddock veterinarian is association vet. He will observe the horses as they come into the paddock, while they're walking around in the paddock during the saddling process. He watches the horses after the jockeys get up. He watches how they walk. He watches them as they go through the tunnel and onto the track through the post-parade. After the post-parade, the gate veterinarian, who is a state veterinarian, will watch the horses while they warm up. If we find any issues prior to going to the gate, the horse can be scratched at that time. If the horse were to get loose during the race, the outrider would bring the horse back for us to examine the horse, make sure it's still good to race. If they break through the front of the gate, same issue, they would bring them back to us, have us examine the horse. If the horse rears up in the gate, again, we're there to examine the horse. As regulatory veterinarians, we're here for the horse. We're the voice of the horse. We're not here for the trainers, we're not here for the racetrack, we're here for the horse. Sometimes we are the only voice for the horse. Sometimes we scratch a horse and people don't understand why we scratched a horse, but we would rather err on the side of caution because a horse can always come back and race another day if we scratch it.
Everyone by order of the stewards upon advice of the track veterinarian up near the gate. Number 8, Cherubin, has now been scratched.
Following the race, the horses go back to the paddock area. They're unsaddled, and again, the paddock veterinarian is assessing the horse after the race. He's looking for different types of things: lameness, stress, heat stress, and even bleeding from exercise-induced pulmonary hemorrhage. If any of that occurs, we immediately handle that situation. We occasionally will need to bring out the ambulance. We are very lucky here at Arlington Park. We have a Givenchi ambulance. It's state-of-the-art horse ambulance. It has the ability to go down and up so that the horse does not have to step up or step down to get into the ambulance. In addition to that, we have a nice shady area that we park the ambulance. It has vents at the top to allow the heat to leave the ambulance. Reasons that we might call the ambulance out to the track would be multifold. If a horse is bleeding after a race, we will send it home in the ambulance. If it's had heat stress after the race, we will send it home in the ambulance. If it's lame and pulls up after the race and we don't know why, we always send that horse home in the ambulance. We'd rather err on the side of caution. There are the occasions, though, when we do have a fracture and it's an obvious fracture and we have to do other things. We always try to get the horse on the ambulance. Sometimes that's not a possibility, and sometimes we do have to euthanize on track. It's the worst thing that we have to do as a veterinarian, and the day that you don't hate euthanizing an animal is the day that you need to quit being a veterinarian. We became veterinarians because we love animals, we care about animals. The hardest part of our job is to make that decision to euthanize, and it's something that we carry with us for a long time after we make that decision. Most horses that break down do not break down on the hind end. They generally break down on the front end. 60% of the horse's body weight is on the front end of the horse, 40% is on the hind end. That's why more fractures are on the front end of the horse as opposed to the hind. Breakdowns on turf courses are very rare, especially here at Arlington. We have one of the safest turf courses in the country. Horses come from all over the world to race on our turf. So a fracture on this turf is very rare. So I've been asked about why we do not put horses in cast and even possibly put them in a sling when they have a fractured leg. It doesn't work very well in horses. Horses have to be able to move around. If they're laying down all the time, it's very hard on their abdominal muscles' ability to breathe. They still need to have movement in the stall so that their intestines move efficiently and work efficiently. They have to have ability to have their abdominal muscles contract and work properly to help them breathe. And standing in a sling is not in the best interest of the horse either. Horses are very large animals. They have very fine legs and very small ligaments that hold those legs together. When they're in a cast, they bear more of the weight on their good legs. In those good legs, there are tendons and ligaments that go down the back of their leg. As they're bearing more weight, we're putting more pressure on that limb, and we're starting to pull on those ligaments and tendons, and those ligaments and tendons can break down in the horse. And then they have no support. And at that time, it's not a good situation for the horse.
It have been about 15-20 years it happened something like this. That hurts, but the best that we can do is still keep taking care of the horses and try to stay strong, and as we have to stay in the business. Because I recently claimed him. When I claimed him, he because he never ran on the grass, so I thought maybe I'll just see how he does on the grass. So I claimed him, ran him, and luckily we won a race with him. He ran a really good race. And everybody said, "You're not going to the race." I said, "Why not, you know?"